Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei had Draig since he born part 2. Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the NOSFERATU 869 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. Let's start this video. It's morning in the Haidu household. The residents were currently eating breakfast like usual. At this point there weren't any awkward breakfasts. They've become used to their lifestyle already. Issei stood from his seat after he finished his food. Okay. Time to go. Let's go, Ray. Issei's mother looked at him curiously. Are they? Where are you taking Ray-chan? Ice? I'm taking her to school. Somebody I know wants to talk with her. Who's that? It's okay, Ka-san. Don't worry about it. Rainer cut in and stood from her chair. She walked to Issei. Let's go. Issei and Rainer walked out of the house with their mother calling out to them. Be safe. Okay. Akin. Kuo Academy. Riaz was sitting at her desk patiently. The only other member with her was her vice president, Akeno. It was silent until they heard a knock on the door. The person they were expecting. Knock knock. Come in. The door opened and the ones who entered were Issei and an unknown person. The fallen angel thought Riaz seriously. Rainer felt her blood freeze when she laid eyes upon Riaz. Riaz Gremory. Heir to the esteemed Gremory clan, younger sister to the Mao Lucifer, and inheritor of the Bale clan's power of destruction. She was truly afraid. What's up? She looked to her left and saw Issei looking down at her curiously. Or more accurately, now that she has become closer with him, she could tell it was a look of concern despite seeming blank. No, nothing. He only stared at her for a bit, then faced forward casually. However, his hand seemed to wrap itself around her own. Please sit. Issei walked towards the couch on the left while not releasing Rainer's hand, prompting her to follow. Welcome back, Ice. Issei responded casually despite the tension by everyone else. So then I assume that you are the fallen angel that has been lurking in my territory. Riaz spoke in an authoritative tone. No matter how much it irritated her, Rainer felt she was in a too vulnerable position to let her pride step in. Yes. I am Rainer. Rainer answered cautiously but firmly. Riaz was staring her down with a stern look. Meanwhile her VP, Akeno, was pouring tea for them with a usual smile, but behind it was a slight disgust. So then, Rainer. What exactly are you doing here in my territory? I'm just living peacefully here with Ice. Is that so? Well, what was it that you were planning before you met Ice? Rainer felt cornered. She doesn't have a backstory. Even if she could somehow justify her current relationship and situation with Issei, her original plans and reason for coming to this town can't be fabricated very easily. Nor did she think she would have to. She didn't know what to answer with. You had asked Ice here on a date that he refused. Then, the day you decided to spend time together, you ended up trying to kill him, so I assume your intentions were nefarious then. She knows. How does she know? Was she spying on us? Or did Ice tell her? He may well have. Damn it. Why is he such an idiot? Why did I have to put my trust in such an idiot? Why did I have to fall? What does nefarious mean? Issei asked that dubiously. The women in the room sweat dropped. Rainer responded nervously. It means evil. Issei looked at Rainer with a confused expression. Ray isn't evil. Oh? And how exactly do you know that for sure, Ice? Riaz asked Ice suspiciously. He answered honestly. Because she's my friend. Just because she's your friend doesn't mean she's not evil. Yes it does. How? Because I don't make friends with evil people. How am I supposed to know that? By looking. How am I supposed to know that by looking? By using your eyes. I know that. I am asking you how simply observing you dictate whether her actions are nefarious or not. Because if you don't see her doing bad things then she's not evil. That doesn't prove anything. She could still be doing evil things in the shadows. But she's not. How would I know that? Because she hasn't done anything bad yet. How do I know you're not lying? Because I'm not. RRRRGGHH. And. Riaz slammed her head on the desk. Butcho. Alright. Riaz responded with her face on the desk. She lifted her head. I believe you. What? Both Rainer and Akeno were shocked by Riaz's statement. But you can't believe such a thing. This fallen is dangerous. Kaneko-chan saw her try to kill him. Of course she has an ulterior motive. He's just lying to you. Riaz looked up at Akeno with an exhausted expression. Akeno, do you really believe that boy is capable of lying? Akeno looked towards Ice. He simply retained a blank expression. He waved at her. No, I suppose not. Indeed he is too honest. Issei just tilted his head. So is that it? Are we good? Yes. I suppose that's enough. At the very least I can trust your word that she won't do anything dangerous from now on, right? Yeah. Rainer nodded as well. That was fast. Well, alright then, don't worry about it, just make sure to keep her on a leash. Ria said that quite exasperated while rubbing her temples. Ria senpai. That's perverted. Ria's couldn't even get mad. Alright. If that's all, we're gonna head to class. Ray's gotta get home anyway. Yeah. Ah. That reminds me. Issei was about to walk out with Rainer, but he stopped and walked back to Ria's desk. I have a favor to ask. What's that? Can you enroll Ray into the school? The girls didn't register fully what Issei had said. What? You know. Like if you can get her into the school. 'Cause it'll be weird if she just stays at home all the time without going back to school. She still looks young, you know. So it'll be weird if she doesn't go to school. My mama and pops will worry about her future. So can you get her in? Do you want me to get your fallen angel girlfriend into a school full of innocent human students because your parents will worry for her future? She's not my girlfriend, she's my family. And this school isn't full of humans because you guys are devils. Ria sighed and brought back her serious attitude. I can certainly do that, use, but that is a high task to ask of me. I could understand if she was only to remain at your home under your supervision, but even if we are all here during school hours, there's no guarantee she won't go on some spree or take a hostage in order to get the upper hand on us. If I am to enroll her, then I need to hear her honest answers. I want to know it all. Ria's peered behind Issei to send a look to Rainer. She flinched. Truthfully, she knew it would be a better idea to have her at the school where she is always being observed, but she wanted to know exactly what it is that drove Rainer to come here and stay. She didn't like being left in the dark on things. Plus, she wasn't going to get any answers from Issei. No way out, huh? Rainer thought that morbidly, as she knew only an honest answer would work. She took a breath and spoke clearly. My original mission that I was sent here for was to observe Haidu Issei for a potential sacred gear. I disobeyed my orders and instead opted to take his life. My pride and childish hope clouded my mind, so I made a foolish decision that should have taken my life, but I spared me and took me in. He said I was his family. His parents accepted me. I have a home. As Rainer continued speaking, her tone became softer and she began pausing. Soon enough, the reality of her situation started to set in. And silent tears fell down her cheeks. All her life she's never had a place to belong. Not heaven. Not a basis. Not anywhere. Not a place she could call home. Her allies did not accept her. They dealt with her. They tolerated each other. But never really became friends. She suddenly remembered some of Issei's words from a few days ago when they were shopping at the store. A few insignificant words that he threw out casually like it was normal. But to Rainer the words held immense significance, without even knowing. Let's go home. She silently sobbed. I see. Eh? Ria's lowered her head with a small smile. She couldn't help but see her friend in the fallen said friend herself could only look away to avoid having to process the complex emotions the scene was prompting her to feel. Rainer lifted her head in surprise, but was met with a close-up of Issei's face. Ah. Rainer jumped back in shock. Issei simply tilted his head. What's wrong? There it was. He asked that in the same tone as a few days before when Rainer cried. The tone of a sweet child. Despite his blank expression, the implications of Issei's words were clear. Seeing Rainer cry made him hurt. Rainer could only stand in silence. She didn't know how to respond anymore. After a few seconds of silence she wiped her tears. No, nothing, I'm okay. Really? Yeah, I'm okay. She sent him a rare smile. Even though she was in her intimidating Rainer form, it was innocent enough. Very well then. I'll have her enrolled by next week. Rainer was struck with a sudden shock. Oh shit. I forgot I answered to get into the school. Damn it. Rainer mentally facepalmed. She wasn't intending to get into the school. Thanks. Let's go, Ray. Eh? Ah, yeah. Iris. Thank you for coming. Let's get along from now on, Rainer. Akin. They left the room. Are you sure that was the wise decision, but you? Do you think Akeno was wrong? I couldn't look at her as a threat after that. Doesn't she remind you of something? No. Issei was walking Rainer home before he'd walk back to school. You don't have to walk me home. Mama said a gentleman always walks a woman home. And I'm supposed to protect Ray. What about when you're at school? Mama can't protect you. Rainer couldn't help but laugh lightheartedly at Issei's comment. Issei just looked at her dubiously. Mama is scary. Yes, I'm sure she is, but I'll be the one protecting Mama. Rainer's statement had Issei tilting his head. But I protect Mama. I know, but I also. Issei just stared at Rainer. She had a somewhat determined expression on her face. Hide. Eh? Hide, now. Rainer was taken aback by Issei's sudden seriousness. His blank face was looking straight ahead of him, where there was nothing. Nevertheless, she complied and hid behind a tree in the small park nearby. Foo. The sound of wings flapping was in the air. Rainer looked up to the sky and was shocked to see her former allies. Is this the target? Looks like it. Ah, he doesn't look that strong, though. From left to right, 3 fallen angels floated in the sky. The first was a blue-haired vixen with an erotic appearance, Kalwerner. The middle was a man in a dark grey trench coat and hat with an intimidating appearance, Donashik. The final one was a young-looking girl dressed in a gothic lowly outfit, Mitlet. Boy, Brett. You are the one with the sacred gear, right? Did you kill Rainer? No. I did defeat her though. She must have run away then. I knew she was all talk. Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. It seems we'll have to do this ourselves. All of us, but that's BOOOOOOOORING. Stop complaining, Mitlet. We're already here, so let's just get the job done and report back. Yes. Yeah. The fallen angels took battle stances and spawned light spears. They act as if Issei is no threat, yet they all came together to avoid failure. Issei questioned them and Mitlet answered. You guys want to fight? Then no, we want to kill you, stupid. You can't do that. Why not, a pretty boy? Because you're too weak for that. Eh? The 3 looked at each other in disbelief. They laughed loudly together. 2weak haha. You tell really good jokes, kid. Just cause you had that loser Rainer running with her tail between her legs doesn't mean you'll have us doing the same. Issei tilted his head. Are they? Mitlet felt confused. The sun was burning bright in her eyes in the empty park, yet despite that somehow it seems to have gotten darker. It wasn't till she looked up that she realized Issei was floating in front of her, towering over her and blocking the view from the sun with his giant figure. Giant. He had his huge dragon wings spread out. Don't call Ray mean names. Issei said that to Mitlet in a firm parent-like tone with a somewhat stern expression. Why yes. Issei was so intimidating and similar to an adult scolding a child that she couldn't help but conform in a docile manner. It took her a few seconds to realize what she was doing. Hey. Wait a minute. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do? Hi do Issei. I don't care about your name. Ray's family. I don't even know what that F-King means. Because Ray is my family. I know what family means, Dumbus. But you said you didn't. Who the hell are you? I already told you. I don't care about your name. I mean, what are you? I'm human. I know that. I'm asking what sacred gear you have. The boosted gear. Which one is that? This one. Shine. What the hell is that? The boosted gear. What does it do? Doubles my power. You mean twice critical? No, this is the boosted gear. What's the difference? A lot. This one has armor. I don't see any armor. I haven't put it on yet. Mitlet? What? Mitlet was called out by one of her colleagues, Kalwerner. She turned to them angrily and saw the 2 frozen in midair with fear in their eyes. Mitlet, that is. Mitlet slowly turned back to Issei. The moment she laid eyes on the gear, the glistening green orb seemed to blind her. But more than that, the light that shone off of it sucked her in. When the light died down, the giant red dragon stared her down. What's with her? Issei pointed at Mitlet curiously. For some reason she was just floating there staring at Issei's gear like she wasn't even conscious. The other 2 didn't respond either, so he just waved his hand in front of Mitlet's face to get a response. It took her a few seconds to get back. She was just a stuttering mess. Every part of her brain was scrambling in fear. It was only now that she was aware of Issei's brutally overwhelming aura. Her colleagues were well aware of it as well. Issei wasn't because he has it out all the time. This is bad, we have to report this immediately. Kalwerner was the first to try to fly away, but she was stopped. Issei was right in front of her. Wait, hold on. Don't you want to talk with Ray? Issei asked that plainly, though to the fallen angels, the implications behind his words as well as his actions were misconstrued. They heard. Do you want to die? Hacken. Out of nowhere a light spear flew straight at one of Mitlet's wings, but was destroyed once making contact with the boosted gear. Don't throw sharp things at people. The other fallen angels turned to the direction where the spear came from. It was Donashik. What the hell, Donashik? Mitlet screamed in pure rage at Donashik, to which he only responded in a cold tone. If it was for the purpose of letting Kalwerner and I escape, then you should be willing to sacrifice yourself. Why sacrifice my ass? Go to hell, you worthless FCK. Zip. Before he knew it, Donashik was facing Issei. This time his face was different. His facial features, though childlike and soft in nature, were clashing with his actual expression. Donishi could not see Issei's face due to the light of the sun behind him, casting a shadow on his form, but his eyes were visible. He could read Issei's expression through them alone. His usually soft eyes were strained in a glare. Issei was finally angry. At first glance, he looks like a child pouting angrily at his parents for taking his toy, but considering his figure, aura, and sacred gear, he looked terrifying to those around. He was genuinely angry. If you do that again, I won't forgive you. Issei's aura expanded unconsciously. All of them froze under the immense pressure. Truly an aura of pure domination. Ice. That's enough. Rainer emerged from her hiding spot and called out to Issei. Once she did, his aura almost immediately disappeared and he returned to his usual manner. Ray. What's wrong? Rainer. You're alive. Yeah, I said she was alive. Shine. A red magic circle shone on the ground beneath them. That symbol. Devils. Ah, it's Ria's and the others. Boo. Onishik had apparently taken the chance at everyone's attention being directed at Rainer and the devils to escape. He was already quite a ways off. Ah, he ran. If it weren't for Rainer's appearance, Issei would not have been distracted enough to let him get away. Let's go, Midlet. Why yeah. The other two planned to follow, but were stopped by Issei in front of them while holding his hands up. Wait, hold on. I still want you guys to talk with Ray. Your friend's right. Shine. The light of the magic circle finally died down and revealed the entire group of devils. They're here. SHT. Midlet and Calwarner looked down morbidly. Surely they were doomed. The day full in angels. May I ask what it is exactly that you are doing in my territory? Riaz greeted the shocked fallen angels once she emerged. Issei responded to her. These are Ray's friends. I see. Her former allies, are they? No, I'm pretty sure they're still friends. Aha. So she was conspiring in nefarious activity after all. No. What? Why not? Because she isn't. But you said they're still friends. Yeah, but that doesn't mean she's doing anything bad. That doesn't make any sense. Riaz Gremory. While Riaz and Issei were about to get into another one of the interactions that seems to always happen with Issei around, Rainer interrupted. Don't worry, they aren't my allies anymore. Rainer said that grimly. A chill washed down both of the girls' spines as they assumed the worst. I see. In that case, that makes things much easier. Riaz said that as she looked up at the two darkly. They were going to die. Wait. Please. Spare us. We weren't going to do anything. We just thought. Save me, your fallacies come. If you attack an ally of mine, then you shall face the consequences. Riaz immediately tossed away Midlet's pleas. As far as Riaz was concerned, they were caught red-handed, no need for trial. She flared a bit of her demonic aura. Ah. What are you doing, Riaz? Issei flew in front of the two girls into Riaz's line of sight, effectively covering them with his wings. Ice, what are you doing? I already asked you that. I know you did, Ice. I am asking you. But I asked you first. If you must know, I am about to cast judgment on the guilty souls. Is that from the Bible? No, I can't read the Bible. Sounds like it. Well, it's not. I know, but it sounds like it. Ice, get out of the way. But you didn't tell me what you were going to do. I am going to eliminate them. You can't do that. These are Ray's friends. Did you not hear her? She already said they were no longer her allies. Yeah, but they're still her friends. Allies and friends are different. Riaz groaned in frustration and impatience. Though she knew deep inside there was no winning with Issei. Issei turned to Rainer. Ray, these are still your friends, right? No, they aren't. The two girls flinched once more. Their demise was imminent. Then again, this is like the third time they felt like they were gonna die and nothing happened. There. You heard her. Now move. Issei descended from the skies and landed in front of Rainer. Finally, their deaths were guarantee you get the FCKIN point. But actually, Issei stood in front of Rainer and stared her down blankly. What? He didn't say anything, just stared at her. Soon enough he turned back to Riaz. See. She's not being honest. Eh? Why, I'm not lying. Maybe, but you aren't being honest. What are you talking about? These aren't my allies anymore. That's true. I don't care what happens to them. That's a lie. Wah. Issei just stared at her. As time passed, she became more and more vulnerable to his gaze. She has developed some sort of weakness to his mannerisms. They aren't my allies, but I don't think they should die. Rainer said that hesitantly. Midlet and Calwarner felt a bit of hope in their hearts. See? I do see Issei. But I'm afraid Rainer's opinion doesn't make a difference. She flared her aura once more. Their hope was eradicated. Ice move. Issei was standing in front of Riaz, even more effectively blocking her view again. Ray and I are gonna talk to them. Ice, this is not negotiable. These fallen are in my territory, under my jurisdiction. This isn't your decision to make. This is my territory too. No, it's mine and mine alone. I already told you, Riaz, you have to try and share. I'm not joking, Ice. Neither am I. Move, Ice. I'm gonna take them home so we can talk. You can come too. Issei turned around to address the two women in the sky. You can come down now. We're gonna go to my house to talk. And I'm probably gonna be late for school, so hurry up. Eh? The two of them weren't sure what to do. They exchanged looks and descended after a few seconds of contemplation. Ice. Issei turned halfway to Riaz. She glared at him for a few seconds, but a slow look of realization came over her. Issei is not someone who could be read off of facial expressions alone. It's impossible. The only way to read him would be if you started to spend large amounts of time with him. The only people who can almost always read him are his parents. And even then their average rate of correct readings are only 80% at most. The more mundane or simple the topic is, the easier it is to read him. All in all, the only way to read him is by using a combination of his minute details in his expression, his words, and the situation. Right now, Issei had made it obvious enough what it was he was trying to say. Are you coming or not? Sigh. Riaz sighed. No room for arguments, huh? I'm lost at my own game. Yes. Let's go. Midlet and Kalwarner grew even more nervous. At the very least they thought they could reason with a more seemingly logical Securite, lol, but now it seems like things have taken a turn for the worst. Haidu household. HMHMHM. Issei's mother was happily humming in the kitchen while washing dishes. Until she heard a knock on the door. Knock knock. Ara. Who could it be at this time? Shiomi-san. Is that you? She called out to the door as she walked to it, expecting to see one of her neighbor's friends. Akin. But instead coming face to face with her son and a large group of friends. Ice. Hey mama. We just came back really quick because we have to talk and we can't do it at school. I see, are these your friends? Yeah. Are any of them going to live here? Ben. He took a quick glance back at Midlet and Kalwarner. Maybe. I don't think we can support that many mouths. Ah, don't worry ma'am. We aren't here to stay. We only want to talk, so if you could please let us in and ignore our conversation. Riaz said that as she was just about to use some manipulation magic on Issei's mother, but right when her eyes flashed red, a hand hovered in front of her face covering her eyes. It was Issei's. He stared at her silently. Fine. She gave up and relaxed herself. So anyway, we're gonna stay for a bit. Okay. Midlet and Kalwarner honestly didn't know what to think of what transpired that day. In the Haidu household there were many boys and girls gathered in the living room. First, there were 3 girls. These 3 happened to all be of the same race. Fallen angels. They sat together on the couch across from each other. The others happened to be a group of 4 devils sitting across from them. They were all currently staring each other down with malice and hostility. Meanwhile, a foolish boy sitting in a lavesiate on his own drinking some orange juice. Ahem. The one who cleared their throat was a red-haired devil who was apparently irritated with the current situation. The boy put his cup down on the table. He seemed serious. What? Never mind. Sigh. Riaz sighed. I see, it's up to me then. Alright. Then my question is, fallen angels, what exactly do you think you're doing in my territory? Riaz asked that menacingly. The hostility was not lost on the fallen angels as they glared back. Raynor felt that she glared back unconsciously, but she couldn't help it. After all, Riaz seemed to be glaring at her for some reason as well. Kalwarner decided to answer. What we do is none of your concern, Gremory. Hold your tongue, Vixen. This is my territory. Whatever and whoever resides in it is under my jurisdiction. What you do and what you plan to do is entirely my business. The girls glared at each other viciously. Meanwhile the boy at the side sipped his drink. Sip. If I were to tell you what I was planning, would that change whether or not you plan to destroy us regardless of it being nefarious? HMPH. What sort of question is that? Of course I would act according to what exactly it is you were planning. Nefarious or not, the reactions would obviously be different. I'm not some sort of brute who takes pleasure in destruction. So if you could not associate me with those types of people who you seem to be familiar with, that would be beneficial for the conversation. Sip. Ha. This coming from the devil related to the foul blood of Baal and even inherited the power of destruction. Ha. I have trouble hearing such things candidly from a lowly, vile, shameless, and impure fallen angel. Sip. Shameless. You are serpentine. Damnation's whore. Enough. I think this orange juice is bad. Clack. Akin. Within the immense amount of tension was noises of flaring red aura, violent slurping and sounds of crackling materialization of a light spear. The front door unlocked and slammed open. The one who appeared was none other than Issei's father. He kept his head lowered with a dark shadow covering the front of his body and shining glasses. His signature look of seriousness. Not to mention he was emitting a dark aura that dwarfed Ria's own, setting off alarms in all of the devils and fallen angels' heads, especially the aforementioned two fighting before. Wow, what is this power? What kind of human? There's no way. Issei's father is supposed to be a full-blooded human. How can? The tension, more than ever before, slowly rose. There was no aura. Issei's father is a full human. It's just in their heads because he seems so intimidating. Stomp, stomp, stomp. He stomped towards Issei, who was in his seat. Ice. Ah, Pops. He leaned down in front of his son and grabbed his shoulders. My son? Yeah, that's me. These girls, these people are your friends. Well, not really. It's a lot more complicated than that. I think the Kiba guy is my friend now though. Maybe not. I don't think they like me. Is that so? Yeah. Issei and his father suddenly went silent. The rest were watching intently with sweat rolling down their foreheads from the tension and random pressure that Issei's father was releasing. Kiba was the same, but had an awkward smile that said I'm okay with being friends. Soon enough, Issei's father straightened back up and perked his glasses. HMPH, just as I thought. I knew the moment I laid eyes on you that day that you would be able to fulfill the dreams I had not. A miracle child, you really are my son. Ops, if you keep saying stuff like that I'm going to cry, so can you stop that? Heh. If only your face wasn't stuck at such a plain expression I would also feel sentimental. Good luck, my son. His father began to walk away. Ah, Pops. I think this orange juice is bad. It has little hairy things in it. That's pulp ice. I didn't hurt anybody. That's beat you to a pulp ice. But Mama said you can't spank me anymore because I can't help it. Never change, my son. But I have to change when I get home from school or Mama will get mad at me for dirtying clothes. Right. He walked away with that. How it is that his parents deal with such a conundrum, the spectators in the room will never know. Though, Rainer felt she was slowly becoming accustomed to it enough. Whether that is a good thing or bad thing is unknown. I don't remember Otu-sama being so scary. Rainer thought that to herself with sweat rolling down her head. Ahem. Anyway. Ria's cleared her throat and captured the attention of everyone. The point is, if you tell me of your intentions and they aren't nefarious, then at the very least I can allow you sanction within my territory peacefully. She emphasized her last words while staring down the fallen angels aggressively. Hala-chan. Alwerner looked down from Ria's end to her left, where the small Alita Mitlet was seated next to her. She had a morbid look of despair on her face. That's enough, it's over. Alwerner was confused until she felt an eerie presence overcome her. She realized that she was being watched from afar. The one eyeing her darkly was none other than the Secretary himself. She felt an intense fear and sense of despair wash over her and run heavily down her spine. Mitlet was right. It was over. There was no way out. Lie or no lie. They were done for. He held Rainer hostage to lure them out and they fell for the bait. Now they were stuck in the worst possible position. Death was staring them down. Even if the devils were to let them go, the Secretary surely would not. But they could not lie to him because they would definitely be caught. So the devils will not let them be. Truly, no way out. As if a giant lion was locked onto its tiny prey from afar, the prey would do nothing but wait to die. Meanwhile, I need to make Kala-chan change her shirt before Mama comes back from the store. She'll be mad if she sees her boobs popping out like that. Is what the imbecile thought seriously while staring at Kalwerner's blessed cleavage. Let me explain. The one who spoke was Rainer. Rainer Ray-chan. She didn't look at them but merely glanced at Issei. He lost his previous look and met eyes with Rainer. His head tilted. Rainer couldn't help but feel secure seeing Issei's expression. Almost like at this point, it had become a signature of nothing being wrong. Or more accurately, that nothing was going to go wrong in Issei's mind. Why? Because to him it was obvious. I'll protect you. She couldn't help but smile slightly. Ria's Gremory. As I said before, our first intention was to take Issei Haidu's life as part of our mission, despite it being against initial orders. Ria's raised a brow. But you didn't need 4 people for it. If you were under the assumption that he hadn't unlocked his gear, then surely 2 of you would have been enough. Yes, what you say is true, that is because. Wait, Rainer. Because we also have another ulterior motive. Ria's expression darkened. In truth, we are disobeying orders to the fullest extent. I brought my allies out here to help me not only to eliminate Issei, but also to obtain a certain item. The item? A sacred gear. Through forceful means. What? How? By using a certain device. To my knowledge there is no such device that exists. It isn't Grigori. Riaz was shocked. Grigori. If she has enough connections in Grigori to obtain such a device, then it would be dangerous to harm her. In fact, if she has enough connection within Grigori, the only ones with enough influence to have or create such a device. Riaz felt chills run down her spine as she had an image of dark silhouettes with large, multiple, feathered wings. Immensely powerful cadre-class beings. The leaders of Grigori. Every devil in the room felt chills run down their spine. Unbelievable fear welled up within them. If these fallen angels had access to such a high-level device, set right in devil territory, inhabited by the younger siblings of the two Mao, Lucifer and Leviathan, for the purpose of stealing a sacred gear under their leaders' orders in the devil's minds, the parameters were set. These are grounds for war. But they were wrong. The fallen felt nervous having their plans ousted. Especially with Rainer's mention of the device they took. Because they weren't given the device. They stole it. They are rogue angels influenced by the orders of a certain nefarious fallen angel leader. However, Rainer only followed these orders in order to gain the merit of a different fallen angel leader. These two leaders, with opposite agendas, are the reason for these fallen angels' place in the town. If the devils found out that they were rogues who didn't have permission to use the device and were going against the direct orders of their main superior, the devils would be justified in eliminating them. Because the leaders would most likely discard them in order to avoid war the moment they found out, giving the devils full jurisdiction to kill them. Or more accurately, one of those leaders would use them as a means to incite war. Regardless, the current situation seemed grim for everyone. Aside from the boy still sipping orange juice skeptically. Ria's sweat dropped but tried to keep her composure. It was obvious she was nervous. I see you were sent to obtain the sacred gear as well. Riaz felt her tension at its highest. She no longer has free rein to deal with these fallen. She is extremely limited in fact. The fact that they are under direct order to obtain the gear means that. No. That was something against my superior's wishes. It was simply a ploy to gain merit, though now I realize that it's not something he would have appreciated either way. The other two girls were shocked. Rainer had told the truth. She just gave up their only leverage. If Riaz had believed that they were under direct order from a leader, then that would mean the leader was willing to risk war in order to complete an objective. And if Riaz were to obstruct it, then war would surely follow. Her hands were tied until Rainer had said that. Phew. She breathed a sigh of relief. In this case, Rainer and her friends are rogues. They may even be traitors for taking such a valuable device without permission. There probably wasn't more than one, and even if there was, there most definitely weren't more than a small few. Meanwhile, the fallen angel girls were doomed. Well, in that case, you're just a bunch of renegades, which makes things easier. This was it. They were doomed. They had no chance. They could do nothing but cower and beg. And even then, it would do nothing. It seems Rainer had given them up to save her own skin. Well, it wasn't surprising to them. They hadn't gone looking for her and were not concerned with the assumption of her death. It was really deserved. They had done a lot of bad things in their lives. Many of those things they seemed to regret. They don't fully understand themselves. It was odd really. It seemed like maybe somewhere within themselves some of the things they did weren't really worth it. Just things they did because they could. Those actions felt hollow. They wished they had done more with their lives. What that was is unknown even to them. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Sigh. Well then, I suppose that's really all we needed to hear. You'll be watching over them from now on, won't you, Ice? Yeah. But it would become a problem for Mama with them here even if they did chores, and I don't want to ask you to put them in school too. So I'll have to have them find jobs or something. You can't get them a house or something. I would prefer if they were under your supervision as much as possible. If I'm not putting them in school, then at least they should stay with you. Okay. Pops wants them to stay anyway, I think. Sigh. I've let out so many heavy breaths in one day I feel like my lungs will collapse soon. Do you have asthma? It's a hyperbole, Ice. Hyperbolic time chamber? Yes, Ice. You're exaggerating. Exactly. But that Riaz stood from the couch and the others followed suit. Wait, wah. Alright, then Ice. We bid you and your family farewell for today. Please, try not to let them get into any more trouble. And once you find their last friend, make sure to contact us, okay? Okay. But it's not farewell because I'll see you at school tomorrow. Farewell for today, Ice. But farewell is forever. Sigh, okay, Ice. The devils began to walk out. See you tomorrow. Yes, see you tomorrow. Akin. Eh? Midlet let out a confused sound. She and Calwerner had not fully registered what just happened. Warh-An. What just happened? Rainer turned and panicked a bit when she saw her allies' intensely confused expressions. Well, you see. They left. Issei interrupted and explained what happened. No, we know that, but why are we alright? Because nothing bad happened. Yes, but why didn't anything bad happen? Because there are no bad people around. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, it does. What? No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No bad people were here, so nothing bad happened. Makes sense. No, that doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't the Gremory devil kill us? Because you're not a bad person. What? How do you know that? Because you haven't done anything bad. That I don't. Midlet was at a loss for words. She turned to Rainer. Is he toying with Rach-an? Rainer merely sighed and shook her head. I don't understand what is going to happen to us. Well, I guess you aren't going to school, so you're probably gonna have to get a job. I don't want to stress out Mama. I seriously don't get it. I just explained. It's okay, Ice. Let me handle this. Rainer sat back down with the girls. Midlet, Calwerner, it goes without saying it's over. We've failed. The whole operation is a failure. There's no point in going on any further with it. We're giving up. And at this point, we can longer go back. We can't show our faces around Grigory anymore. Even if we go, you know he'll kill us. We are just stray birds. The looks of despair remained on their faces. But it's not over for us. They perk their heads up, slightly confused. Rainer stands up and goes to stand next to Issei in his Levesid. The devils won't harm us. As long as we agree to act peacefully, we can live on. That's all the choice we have left. Their looks of despair somewhat faded as the information was processed in their minds. Midlet had a look of disgust, while Calwerner had one of anger. Ha! Rainer, explain yourself. It is exactly as I said it. We will be left alone as long as we don't do anything unnecessary. Midlet also gained a look of great anger. Calwerner stood from the couch. Are you telling us to live quietly under these devil's boot heels? Yes. Ha! Rainer's answer had finally infuriated them. Midlet stood alongside Calwerner. What the hell are you talking about? You're telling us to just desert our entire race and live in tandem with the repulsive devils, are you f***ing kidding me? What other choice do we have? I'd rather die right now. Are you sure about that? Midlet flinched at Reynard's dark expression. Her eyes moved slowly to the Secretary sitting in the chair. He was silent and unfocused, clearly thinking about something else. Indeed, the Secretary was above such talk like this. As if he cared about the lives of two lowly rogue fallen angels. For some reason or another he seems to have spared Rainer, but he won't hesitate to get rid of them. He could probably do it at a moment's notice. In fact, he's probably so bored with the conversation that he would prefer to be lost in his own thoughts. This is what Midlet would assume. In truth, the idiot was just thinking about whether those clothes of theirs are part of their skin. Since they transform in and out of them. Either way, Rainer to tell us to join the devils. Calwerner had a look of anxious disgust. We're not joining the devils. What? Ha! They both looked at Rainer like she was stupid. In fact. Are you stupid? You literally just said that. No, I didn't. I said as long as we don't do anything dangerous, those devils will let us live. Here. With Ice. She said that while motioning to the boy in the seat. Hi-ah. CRRRRCK. Midlet tilted her head so far she cracked it. You heard me. We won't be allies with the devils themselves. We'll be allies with Ice. Wait, what? You mean allies with him? Yes. What do you mean by that? Isn't he associated with them? Yes and no. He is their classmate. He is not their ally. Classmate. Yes, Ice attends Kuo Academy, the school nearby. He is a normal human after all. I had told you that when he was the target, remember? But if he isn't with them, then he would just be their enemy. No. They believe he is their ally. He is to a certain extent. He said he will help them if need be, and he will protect this town. However, he also said that he wouldn't get involved if it had to do with outside factions causing conflict, or at least he won't take sides. He'll just make sure nobody destroys anything. That doesn't make any sense. Rainer shrugged with a small smile on her face. Tell him that. He won't listen to you though. Midlet only glanced at Ice. Snore. Oh, never mind. Sigh. Anyway, the point is from here on out if you think that we're on our own, then you're wrong. Rainer sat down on the arm of the Levesiad and smacked the back of Issei's head. Boo. Ice, wake up. What? Issei woke up groggy and with a bubble popping from his nose. He began rubbing his eyes and speaking lazily. Midlet and Calwerner are worried about what they're gonna do now. Why? Because they can't go back, so they don't have anywhere to stay. Eh? But they're staying here. I'll tell Mama so it's okay. But they'll probably have to get jobs so they don't cause Mama trouble. They're also afraid of dying. Are they sick? No. Then why? They are worried the devils may come and kill them. They won't do that. How do you know? Because as long as they don't do anything bad they won't care. What if someone else comes to get them? Like some other enemies? Nothing will happen. Why? Because I'll protect them. The last part is what caught the girls' attention. They were taken aback, not understanding what exactly he meant. Protect? Will you protect them? Yeah, they are my friends. Friends? Why? Because they are Ray's friends, they are my friends now too. So I will protect them. Is that so? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. You can go back to sleep. Rainer said that softly to Issei while rubbing his head as he began to fall asleep. The other two were silent, uncertain about what to think. They still didn't fully believe if what was happening was true. Rainer stood and looked at them seriously. You two, to be honest with you, I didn't care much for any of you when I started all of this, I just wanted to get what I needed. And whatever happened to you wasn't really my problem. You were my pawns. So I didn't pay any mind to your well-being. Her words agitated them because of their pride. But after I had realized that I wasn't going to die, something changed. You may think I've lost it, but the idiot boy you see sleeping in the seat here, he changed me. He made feel wanted. He gave me the only thing I wanted. Really, it may seem pathetic, but that's the truth. And the fear of death. The feeling of being wanted and being protected by something so much grander than myself. I suppose it made me think about the rest of you a bit more. The two girls were silent and confused. Was this really happening? Is this really Rainer? She isn't under the influence of any spells. Is she just afraid and trying to save them? But Rainer doesn't care for others. So then does that mean what she said is true? Because otherwise, why would she be trying to help them? If she is still the same old Rainer, then her actions don't make sense. In that case. So I'm asking you, since there's nothing left for these idiot rogues, will you please try to live? Rainer held out her hand with a soft expression. There was no way this was Rainer. The old Rainer would never have done this. Has she gone mad from fear? But she is too logical. Her behavior isn't erratic enough. What if we refuse? Halwarner asked. Rainer had a frown on her face. An expression of worry. At the very least, don't leave this town. If you were to leave, then I don't know what would happen to you. Grigori is no longer a place you can return to safely. And if you return to the underworld, he will surely have someone find you. He wouldn't like hearing about desertion very much. And someone like him can know where you are easily just because of how powerful he is. And if you stay here but in another section of the human world, then I suppose you may be able to find somewhere safe enough. But I can't guarantee it'll be safer than here. Church and devil affiliates run rampant in places that aren't designated territory. You will have trouble often. And for what? There will be nothing left for you to do. You will simply live doing nothing for your race or organization which you were so loyal to. It would be a worthless life. As Rainer's speech drew on, they felt despair return more and more. They had nothing left. Any anger they had subsided. Only despair remained. Hopelessness. Emptiness. Mitlet sat back on the couch silently, not having the motivation to stand any longer. Yes, you're right, nothing left then. Halwarner, seeing the usually vulgar and annoying Mitlet in despair, made her feel just as melancholy. Seeing her allies like this, Rainer tried to snap them from it. Wait, remember what I said. It's not over yet. They lifted their heads despite having the same expressions. You can still live on. You don't have to give up. Without a purpose. Here is your purpose. She pointed to Issei. Their despair was once again replaced with confusion. What do you mean? Rainer elaborated. If you aren't going to live for yourselves, then you're going to live for someone else, right? You lived for Grigori. But now that's gone. In that case, why not live for something greater? Greater? Don't get confused. This boy may be a human, but he is the Securitate. And I can tell you that he is stronger than all of the devils in us combined. That, they found hard to believe. What? That can't be true, Rainer. We couldn't have been sent to dispose of someone so powerful. Not to mention his power is higher than ours, but it doesn't seem that high. Mitlet responded. Clearly skeptical. So was her colleague. Well, of course, Ice is very good at hiding it. He always keeps his aura under 25% or less. What? You didn't think that measly aura he showed to Donashik was his power, did you? Rainer scoffed. She came off as proud for some reason. She poked Issei's cheek to wake him up again. Ice. Wake up. And then again. Yes, Ice. I need a favor. Show us your aura. Why? Just show it to Mitlet and Halwarner. They said it would make them feel safer. But if I do that, Riaz will freak out and come to my house. Just text her and tell her it's a drill. Okay. Issei took out his phone and sent a letter, since this is Japan, to Riaz. It was from Securitate because that's Issei's username for most of his platforms, because Issei does not think of the possible consequences for his actions or anything. Securitate. I am going to show Ray's friends my aura, but it's okay, don't freak out because it's just a drill, PS don't come to my house. He received a response almost immediately. Ria's G. What? Ria's G is typing. Issei stood from the seat. Okay, I think she gets it. Good. Then let it out. I don't have to go to the bathroom. No ice, your aura. Oh. Ooh. All of the women froze immediately. This aura was much greater compared to the one with Danashik. If the last aura was double Danashik's power, who was the strongest, then this was more than 4, no, 5 times stronger. At least. This aura was an obstruction of everything weak. They fell to their knees or their backs on the floor. Even Rainer subconsciously fell back and landed on her bottom, not expecting that much from him. She could feel the intense pressure from being that close to him. Great fear paralyzed her. However, a small part of her also felt another feeling. It was physical. It may have been an attraction of some kind. Issei let down his aura after a few seconds. Soon after, Issei's phone was vibrating. He took it out of his pocket. 5 missed calls from Ria. He put it back in his pocket. He looked around to the dumbfounded girls. That's it, right? Yeah, Ice, thank you, go back to sleep now. Okay. Issei sat back down and fell asleep in a matter of seconds. The girls took a few seconds to compose themselves. Rainer stood first. So you see, he is strong. Yes. Indeed. This was the Securitate. He was powerful. Not as powerful as their leaders, but certainly a force to be reckoned with. Definitely enough for protection. If that's what he could do, then they could feel rest assured about minor threats. That's what they think, but Issei was really only at around 30% power when he did that. He still wanted to keep his house, of course. It would cause trouble for Mama otherwise. Plus, he would have killed the girls. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, I've decided. Mitlet. Once the two stood up, Mitlet took some deep breaths. She had reached a decision. If I'm gonna live as a slave, I guess the Securitate isn't a bad candidate. He's powerful anyway. She said that as she chuckled awkwardly. What? You mean you're going to serve him? HMPH. What other choice do I have? I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to die. So having the Securitate himself as protection is pretty reassuring. Especially when he's so powerful. Besides, if they're going to assume we're dead, then I don't have anything to lose anyway, except for my life itself. I want to keep that. Wow. Halwerner had no argument. Halwerner. I know what you could be thinking, but really, what other option do you think would be better? Rainer asked her that not because she was trying to corner her, but because she wanted her to make the right decision. It took several pauses, but soon enough she sighed. Sigh. I suppose there's no avoiding it then. Rainer seemed to calm at that point. I think I'm glad somehow. She breathed a sigh of slight relief. It felt good to worry about others and then have those worries taken away. So then what now? Mitlet asked that as they both turned to Rainer. Well, now we tell Ice. Snore. He was asleep. Clack. Akin. Ice, did your friends leave? I'm back from the store, so if you're free, come help. Issei's mother entered the house. There were still 3 girls in the living room. Hello. Good day. Hey. I'll help you, Kasan. Come on, let's go. Rainer pushed Issei's mother out the door to help her with groceries, leaving the other 2 with a sleeping Issei. Snore. Nekala-chan. Yes. Is he stupid? Well, I. Snore. Don't know. The bell sounded throughout Kuo Academy. Meanwhile, a certain boy sat in seat scribbling down notes while a red-haired princess stared at him from in front of his desk. Scribble. She glared down at him menacingly, tapping her foot on the ground, but the boy continued writing. Scribble. Ice. Scribble. Many of the students around were staring and whispering amongst themselves about why one of the school's great one Isam is glaring at the school's number 1 idiot. Scribble. Ice, look at me. The boy did not. He instead continued writing while putting his finger up, indicating to Riaz that she must wait. Of course, this only made a tick mark of pure anger appear on her forehead. Scribble. Ice, listen to me. He kept his finger up. Scribble. Ice. Scribble. Ice. Scribble. Ice. Scribble. DK. The boy's pencil lead had broken. He looked up from his papers. When did Riaz get here? Is this going to be a pattern with you? What is? Never mind. Riaz sighed. For the millionth time that week. Ice, aren't you going to explain yourself about what happened in the morning? Oh yeah, the girls are gonna get jobs. What? No, who cares about that? I'm talking about. She looked around, finally taking in her environment. The students who were all looking at them suddenly averted their gazes. But they still whispered to each other, and most of them were listening intently. Let's go, Ice. Where? To the cloak room. Okay. Riaz began to walk away and Issei quickly gathered his things and followed. However, they stopped just short of the club room as Riaz started questioning him the moment they reached the outside of the building. Ice. Yeah. This morning you released your aura to a brutal amount that I didn't even know you were capable of and never once explained. Instead you told me it was drill and not to come to your house. Then I asked why and you didn't answer me. You didn't ask why. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. All you said was what? Regardless. You didn't answer me after that. You scared me and my peerage and forbid us from checking on you. It's as if you were being attacked and tried to protect us from it. Do you have any idea how worried I was? Issei tilted his head like usual. But I wasn't getting attacked. I told you I was showing the girls my aura. But you didn't answer me after. Because I told you why already. Sai, what am I going to do with you? You want to kill me? What? No, that's not what I meant. Oh. Is that the only thing you wanted to talk about? Yes, I suppose it is. Okay. I'm going home then. Issei turned back on his heel to walk away. Wait. He stopped and turned his head. Aren't you going to come in? No. Why? Oh well, I just thought you wanted to talk about something else or just drink some tea with the rest of us. Issei stared blankly at Riaz for approximately 10 seconds, which felt like eternity for Riaz. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Oh, never mind. Issei walked away. Oh. BXD. Issei was making his way home boorishly since he had no clubs to help out. On his way home, however, he happened to hear a squeal and a hard thud nearby. The girlish groan of discomfort. When he turned, all he was met with was a bum. No, a literal bum. With pearly white panties. Issei approached it and kneeled down, staring blankly at it. And for whatever reason. Decides to smack it. Whop. Pia. Another squeal, although this one seemed a bit more painful and surprising. The bum finally disappeared from under the green dress as the head on the opposite end lifted itself. Long blonde hair, green eyes, and an innocent expression is what turned Issei. Ah. It's a human angel. Eh? Issei randomly commented. The girl did not seem to understand and merely tilted her head. As did Issei in response. No, hello. Hey. Why you can understand me? No. I don't speak Italian. Yes, you can, partner. Yeah, I can. Oh thank goodness. I am very lost and no one here understands me. Will you please help me? Okay. Oh really, thank the Lord. I am so glad. Thank you so much. He helped the girl to her feet as she lightly dusted herself off and picked up her suitcase. Where are you trying to go? Yes. I am trying to get to the church within this town that I have been stationed in. We only have one church, but it's abandoned. Why yes, that one is it. Why would you go to an abandoned place? Are you a ghost hunter? No. I am a sister. Your family live there? No, I am a nun. But it's abandoned. Why yes, but that is where my allies are. Issei only tilted his head. Asia didn't really know how to properly explain it to him either. Okay. Let's go then. Why yes. Issei walked alongside with a nun who he did not know the name of and did not ask. No. May I know your name? Op says that you shouldn't tell somebody your name unless they introduce themselves first. But Mama says to be polite and introduce yourself first. So I don't know what to do. Oh. I'm sorry. My name is Asia Argento. What about you? I'm Haidu Issei. My friends call me Ice. Mama and Pops too. Is it Signer Issei? Why don't you just call me Ice-san? Ice son. Partner, she does not speak Japanese. You are only confusing her. Oh yaha. Sorry, never mind. You can just forget about that. Just keep calling me what you want. Why yes, Mr. Signer. Issei. Okay then follow me. Yes. The two proceeded quietly for a few minutes until the sound of a child's yelp stopped them in their tracks. Ow. NNNNNN. The boy a few meters away was gripping his leg tightly while his eyes were tearing up. It seems he hurt his knee. Oh my. The girl known as Asia quickly ran to him and kneeled down beside him. Now. Boys aren't supposed to cry at something small like this. She spoke to him in a soft tone while smiling brightly. She hovered her hands over his scraped knee and only a few seconds after a green light began to shine, slowly evaporating his wound. The boy looked curiously at his leg. After he realized his scrap was gone, he immediately stood and ran off. He turned as he ran and shouted to Asia in Japanese. Thanks Wani-chan. Asia did not understand what it was that he said, but she could take a guess considering his bright smile. When Asia stood back up, she was met with the blank stare of the tall idiot stranger named Issei. Ah. She couldn't help but let out a shriek. For some reason, he was staring at her. Blankly and quietly. As if he were analyzing her. Ayano. No answer. Mr. Issei. He lifted his finger and pointed straight at Asia's face. You're white mage. Eh? Okay, let's go. He started to walk off again. Asia took a few seconds, then quickly followed behind. Oddly enough, she noticed that when she would reach his side, he would always take a step further to distance himself. Ayano, is it because of my power, Mr. Issei? Yeah, you're white mage and I'm vanguard, so I have to be a little bit ahead of you to protect you. Eh? Is that so? She didn't really understand anything besides protection, so she decided to not question it and just assumed he was being nice. It didn't take long before they would end up reaching the bottom of the hill on which the church rested at the top. The church is up there. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Issei. Would you like to come in for a cup of tea? No thanks, I don't like tea. Oh, I see. Well, if you would like, you may come to rest. I'm not really tired. Oh, is that so? Asia looked a bit downcast, not being able to repay the boy who helped her. Partner, there is a fallen angel residing in that church. Oh, that other guy from a couple days ago. Yeah, I can tell. It would be wise to deal with him now, no? I don't know. Ria's just told me to call her when I found him. I think it best to deal with the situation yourself, rather than involve the devils. Okay. Actually, I'm tired after all. Can I get some tea? Asia's face lit up with that. She smiled brightly. Why yes, of course. They proceeded up the hill mount. When they reached the top, they came face to face with a giant wooden rotting abandoned church with giant wooden doors. Asia slowly opened one of the doors and peeked her head inside. Ayano. No one was inside. Okay, Mr. Issei, please go on. Done. Splash. Out of nowhere, a bucket filled with water fell and spilled onto the floor in front of them, splashing neither of them. Stupid fools. Score 1 for Freed Cell. The one who popped from the shadows was a boy with white hair and red eyes wearing priest robes. Ah, it failed. No, actually, like, who the hell even are you guys? I'm Issei. My mama calls me Ice. No, like, who are you? I just said my name. No, I don't care about your name, I mean, who the hell are you? I already told you who I am. No, you didn't. You just told me your name. Yeah, that's who I am. No, who cares about that? I'm asking why you're here. I'm hanging out with Asia. She's gonna give me tea. Yeah, why? Who the hell are you? I told you twice already. The three of them stood there in silence. Ayano, hello there. Nice to meet you. My name is Asia Argento. I am the nun that was sent here. This is Mr. Issei. He helped me find my way here after I got lost. I wanted to repay him by serving him some tea. After that, the priest gained a look of realization. A devilish smile ironically stretched his face. Oh, I see. So you're the one, huh? Welcome me casa sucasa haha. Do you live here? Ah, no way, idiot, I live in a way better place. Then would you say this is your house? It's an expression, Dumbus. Expression of what? I will make some tea. No, Asia-chan. I'll get the tea. The white-haired man said that while cackling deviously under his breath. He walked into another section of the church while Issei and Asia sat in the front row of the church. Asia began praying silently. Thank you, Lord, for bringing me to where I need to be and for sending me Mr. Issei as my guide. Issei simply sat there waiting patiently. Though, he was more lost in his thoughts about the giant cross with a man on its statue. That isn't physically possible. He would fall right off. Apparently, he was only cornered with the actual physics of the statue rather than the symbolic value which it was created for. Here you go, kids, nice warm tea, eh? The nameless white-haired man returned with a tray and 2 teacups full of green tea. Oh, thank you, mister. Name's Freed. Freed Selzen. Exorcist extraordinaire. You're an exorcist. Like the blue exorcist. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm an exorcist. My sword is made out of blue light though. Oh. Do you have a tail? Ha. Hell no, SHT bag, I'm a human. Oh, you're no blue exorcist. That's boring. NNGH. The white-haired man known as Freed Selzen felt a tick mark appear on his head. Issei was starting to really agitate him. But that didn't matter because he had a solution. Yes, that's right, soon I don't have to worry about you anymore. This tea is very well made, Mr. Freed. You should try it too, Mr. Issei. My guess. Yes, that's right. Drink it. Because once you drink it you won't be able to drink anymore. Issei slowly raised the cup up to his mouth. That's because it reaches his lips. I poisoned it. Sip. Mr. Issei? Issei had frozen in place. It was dead silent. It looked like he wasn't breathing. Until he raised his head slowly and… Of course it tastes that way. It's because I poisoned it. Asp. Mr. Fried, no. And the thing I poisoned it with is… No, like you aren't supposed to be keep drinking it. Oh. Clang. He placed his cup back on the tray. Sorry Asia, I really don't like tea after all. I see. Issei looked up towards the ceiling. Also, why are you hiding up there? The other two looked up with a deadpan expression and were met with the image of a large man in a trench coat clinging to a wooden beam across the ceiling with his full body. Why, you can't see me? Yes, I can. You're dreaming. No, I'm not. How do you know? Issei thought for a second, then he used his right hand to pinch his left arm. I'm not dreaming. Did that hurt? No. Then how do you know? Issei's expression became serious as he started thinking deeply. He stood up and faced Fried, who retained his deadpan expression. Fried, can I borrow your sword? No. Why? Is it out of battery? No, it doesn't need a battery. So then can I? No. Why not? I just don't want you to. You can just be honest. If it doesn't have a battery, then you can say that. You don't need to be embarrassed. I told you it doesn't need a battery. Of course it does. You said it had blue light. That's not what I meant, Dumbus. So it glows in the dark. Stop talking to me. Partner. Issei looked back up to the ceiling where Donishik was last at. But he was gone. Ah. He left. You could have simply asked me if you were dreaming or not. I can always infiltrate your dreams. But what if I was just dreaming that? Ayano. Issei turned back to Asia. Okay. I'm gonna go to Asia now. Thanks for the tea, but I didn't like it. I'm going home now. EA? Ah, okay, thank you for coming. Issei picked up his bag and started to make his way down the hall towards the exit. I Creed. Freed. Freed from what? Get out. Okay. Akin. It was already sunset by the time Issei stepped out. He started down the hill normally. He took out his phone to mail Ria's. Security. I found the last of Ray's friends. The guy in the coat. Ria's G. Good. Where is he? Security. Idk. He ran away. Ria's G. What? You didn't chase after him? Security. No. Ria's G. Why not? Security. I'm hungry, so I want to go home and eat. Ria's G. Who cares about that? This is more important. Security. Mama says I should always eat when I'm hungry. Ria's G. You can just eat afterward. Security. But I'm hungry now. Ria's G. Then you can eat during. Security. Mama told me never to run with food in my mouth. Ria's G. Just fly. Security. But then I'll just drop the food. Ria's G. Please, Ice. Why can't you just help me? Security. Are you in trouble? Ria's G. No. That's not what I mean. Security. Then what do you mean? Ria's G. Never mind, Ice. Ria's G. I'll figure it out. Security. Okay. Security. By the way, I met a white mage today. Ria's G. A what? Ria's G is typing. Issei put his phone in his pocket. Are you sure it was wise to leave the nun under the care of those two partners? Yeah. She'll be fine, so I don't see a problem with it. You don't believe they would hurt her? They wouldn't do that. Are you sure about that? Yeah. Very well. I will trust your judgment. You have always been greater at reading others than I for some reason. Silly Draig. You read books, not people. Right, your partner. Hi do household. Akin. Issei entered his home and removed his shoes near the door. I'm home. He walked into the living room. The first one who greeted him back was a small Alita wearing a pink shirt and short blue sporty booty shorts. Welcome back. She quickly said that while watching TV and rolling a lollipop in her mouth lazily. Welcome back, Ice. Welcome back, Ryu. The other two who welcomed Ice back from the kitchen were Rainer and his mother. Issei tilted his head at Raynaud's response. Ryu? Ah. Oh, yeah, that's because you gave me a nickname, so I decided to give you one too, Ryu, because you have a dragon spirit. Haha. You know. Do you not like it? Rainer asked shyly with a slight blush on her face. No, it's good. I like it. Issei responded casually and proceeded to join Mitlet on the couch watching TV. Rainer returned to help his mother with dinner with a small smile on her face. Akin. The front door seemed to open and a voice was heard, followed by footsteps down the hall. I have returned. The one who entered the living room was Kalwerner. However, her usual attire was not what she was wearing either. Instead, she was wearing a nice black woman's suit. Black coat, white shirt, black skirt, brown nylons, black heels and even rimmed glasses. She truly looked like a professional. Hello, Ryu-sama. Ah, welcome back Kalawerner. Hey Kala-chan, wait, what the hell are you wearing? I am wearing a suit. It is for my work. Work? Indeed. I have acquired a stable profession in which to dedicate my time to. Pretty much everyone in the house, aside from Issei, was absolutely shocked. Most especially Mitlet. Why you got it? Yes. Rainer questioned her immediately. How? When? What type? Issei's mother was in shock. As such, she had no words and stared blankly at them. I simply researched what would be one of the highest paying professions in the country within a certain distance. I did some maths and ended up finding the best choice considering all of the payments and expenses your family would be making from now on. What job is that? Issei asked curiously. Right. As of today, I now work as a secretary for a certain executive in Tokyo. He works for a company known as Sumitomo Mitsui Financial and as such is much too busy of a person to deal regularly with certain issues, therefore, I offer him my services as secretary in order to lessen the stress load. Sumitomo Mitsui. I think I've heard my pop say something about that once when he was reading the newspaper. What was that again, mama? His mother had practically turned to stone. And if I remember, he said something like Sumitomo Mitsui is the 7th most profitable company in Japan now. Last year they were number 3. Too bad for them, huh? But they're still making billions. Damn banks. Or something like that. I do believe that it is Ryu-sama. Ah, good job Kalawerner. Thank you Ryu-sama. Since you and Ray already have nicknames for me and I came up with Ray's, do you want me to give you one? I would be honored. Then Kala. Mitlet already calls you Kala-chan, so that should be close enough to work for everybody. Yes, thank you, Ryu-sama. My guess Mitlet needs one too then. Ha. How about Mito? Wah, who the hell cares about that? What about the thing Kala-chan just said? I heard her already. She's done telling us. Right Kala? Yes. That was all. Wait. No, I'm sorry. There was one more thing. Kalawerner approached the coffee table sitting in front of the couch. Then she reached into her coat and brought out an envelope. Apparently, I was able to perform well enough on my first day that he was elated to give me my first payment. She handed the envelope to Issei. He opened it and found a check inside. When he retrieved it. He gave you 50,000 yen. Mitlet leaned in to look at the check while Rainer sat next to them to read it. Once read, she immediately swiped the check from Issei's hand and examined it standing up. THTH, this is. How much is it, Ray? She looked towards Issei and Mitlet and shouted loudly. This is 530,000 yen. $5,030, United States dollars. Wah, for the first day it can't be. That's what it says on this check. Yes, according to him, this isn't going to be my regular payment. He said my monthly salary would be more. But he wanted to give me this as a thank you for helping relieve him of a great amount of his workload. Though it was much simpler than I would have expected. Most of it was answering phone calls, denying meetings, negotiations, and everything of that sort. Apparently, despite being a successful businessman, he is not a very confrontational person. For that reason, there are many times when he is forced into meetings or negotiations that he prefers not to have because he cannot deny when they ask. That is what I do. Therefore, I am his secretary. Not one of them had a response. Issei was watching TV. Creak. Hug. Out of nowhere, Issei's mother unsteadily approached Kalawerner and hugged her silently. Kalawerner was unfamiliar with this reaction, so she could only stay perfectly still with her arms in the air. No. Kalawerner was completely caught off guard and didn't know how to respond to the physical contact, stuttering and twitching her hands. Akin. I'm Home. Issei's father returned. What's going on? Kala got a job. Issei said that as he approached his father with a check. Impressive. It's only been a day. I didn't know she was so skilled. I remember when I was young. It took me weeks to get a job. Hell, when I was in high school I didn't even go outside. He froze the moment he fixed his glasses to look down at the check. He walked up to Kalawerner and his wife, joining their embrace silently. What? DMM. Is dinner ready yet? I'm hungry. 30 minutes later. DUHAAH, it's been so long that I could have some nice celebratory SAKE. Here you are HONEY drink UP, there's plenty more where that came from. Oi, KSAN, be careful NOW, you know how I get when I DRINK, we may get to have another ice. Smack. Oh honey, not in front of USE. Clang tink. The two mature fallen angel girls were quietly eating their meals while feeling slightly embarrassed by Issei's parents' flirtatious drunk behavior. Nom nom gulp crack nom nom. Meanwhile their only son was stuffing his face without a care for it. The last fallen Lolita was merely picking at her food with a frown on her face. All of the supernatural beings were sitting on the same side while Issei's parents sat together across from them. Although 4 seats on one side were a bit cramped, they still sat that way nonetheless. What the hell's up with this atmosphere? All of this over some stupid job. It's easy to get some stupid human to give you practically anything, let alone a job. HMPH. And most of all, what is wrong with Kalwerner? Now she's all Ryu-sama this, Ryu-sama that. It's so annoying. After all that hesitation from her in the morning and suddenly by night she becomes his loyal servant. We have no other objectives left to complete. All we can do now is serve Ryu-sama. If that's the case, then I shall serve him as diligently as I am able to. What kind of attitude shift is that? It's like a complete 180. Mitlet glanced over at Kalwerner. She was eating her food quietly and respectfully. Just look at her. Acting all smug like that while eating her food. I bet she's all proud of herself too. Just cause she fooled one human into giving a job and money. I can even do something like that. In the midst of the audacious laughter from Issei's parents, Issei's loud scarfing of food, and sounds of the TV in the background, Rainer decided to vocally express her concerns to Kalwerner. Kalwerner, what's with the sudden change? Just this morning you were even more hesitant to help Issei than Mitlet was. Nice going, Rainer. If it's you that asks her, then this vixen will have to answer honestly and get caught up in her lies. Well, it's as Mitlet said, we truly have nowhere else to turn. If we are to serve someone, then why not the Securite? At the very least, that is an existence worth serving. Rainer has also made this decision. I see no longer any issues with following suit. Why don't try to blame this on us, you busty stupid vixen. I bet you didn't even care about honoring our race or our superiors. No wonder you were so easy to give up hope. Now you switch to being aligned with an unclaimed Securite. How dumb can you be? Besides, as long as we aren't allied with the foul devils, I see no relative harm in it. Slam. Aha. So that's your excuse. While Issei and his parents were continuing their actions undistracted, Mitlet unconsciously stood up and slammed on the table out of anger. Issei noticed Mitlet standing and asked her with a mouth full of food. What's more, Mio? What's wrong, Mito? Nothing. She sat back down ashamedly and began picking at her food with her head down. Speaking of Kalwerner, how did you get to Tokyo and back after working in such a short amount of time? You couldn't have gone by train. Of course, I took the normal way. Ah, I see. RRR. Mitlet suddenly stood from her chair. And RR. You think you're so special. Just because you were able to seduce some stupid human with that bee body of yours. Just you wait. I'll show you. Anybody can get a job like that easily. Just watch. I'll show you how easy it is. Mitlet stormed from out of the house with an enraged expression. Where did Mito go? Issei asked that while having a face covered in rice and various liquids from his violent eating habits. Here, Ryu-sama. Kalwerner casually grabbed a napkin and wiped Issei's face. Rainer could only sweat drop. Truly, the Haidu household has become something indescribable. Later that night. Snorri. The house was now quiet and dark. All of the lights were off and every resident was presumably asleep. Issei's muffled snores rumbled through the walls of the house. Issei's parents had returned to their room quickly during the others' dinner and proceeded to fall asleep together. Unfortunately for them, everyone else besides them has supernatural hearing and could very perfectly understand what was happening. Except for Issei, of course, who asked Rainer what they were doing. To which she responded that they were only having fun. Which became a problem when Issei asked the girls if they wanted to have fun. Leaving Rainer angry with Kalwerner when she agreed quite easily. Now, Kalwerner lay in bed, resting peacefully in the guest room which has been labeled as her and Mitlet's bedroom. Knock knock. Speaking of which, Kalwerner heard a light knocking on the door of the bedroom. She tiredly rubbed her eyes and went to open the door. Backend. When she opened it, a blonde girl in a suit stood there with her head down and shoulders slumped, arms hanging down as if defeated. Were you able to accomplish what it is that you set out to do? She simply shook her head. Well, I suppose you can just try again tomorrow. Kalwerner stepped aside, allowing Mitlet to enter the room slowly and shut the door. Ding dong ding dong. Scribble. Ice. The foolish protagonist was writing notes onto his papers as a red-haired beauty stood in front of his desk impatiently. A familiar scene. The girl was once again tapping her foot furiously on the ground. One of her eyes began twitching. Scribble. This was a very familiar scene. Except. Swipe. Bria swiped the pencil from Issei's hands as he was writing. He reached down into his bag and retrieved a replacement pencil. Ice. Slam. She slammed her hands down onto the desk, causing every student in the room to jump instinctively. We're going to the club room. Can I finish my homework there? Yes. You will come to the club room and we will talk about things, and you will drink tea with us. I'm not drinking tea. RRR. Riaz immediately grabbed his arm and dragged him out of the room in seconds. Minutes later. Sip. Riaz was drinking tea from her cup at her desk with an angry expression. Meanwhile, Issei was sitting on the couch doing his homework on the coffee table. Riaz placed her cup down. Now, Ice. Would you care to explain why you didn't follow the last fallen angel yesterday? I already told you when we were texting. No, you did. Calm down, Riaz. No arguing. Inhale, exhale. Before Riaz lost her temper, she quickly took a breath while relaxing her shoulders. Okay, Yus, then at least can you tell me where he went? I don't know. He went north when he ran off, but I don't actually know where he went. I'm sure I could have found him though. I see. Where were you at when he ran off? At the abandoned church. What? Why? I told you I met a white mage. I don't know what that means. The white mage is a healer. You've never played any RPGs or MMOs. That doesn't matter, Ice. I'm asking you why you were at the church. I met a white mage. Ice. But you, please calm down. If you keep getting so angry, your health will deteriorate. Right as Riaz was about to burst with rage, her best friend Akeno placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder to calm her. Riaz rubbed her temples and took another breath. Okay, Ice, so you met a white mage, and for some reason you ended up at the church. Is that where you encountered the last fallen? Yeah. The wave of relief washed over her. Great. So in that case, does that mean that he was using the church as his hiding place? Well, he tried. And that could be a problem. Ignoring Issei's comment, Riaz began contemplating her next move. And hiding in the church could have been a problem, but considering that these are rogues and it is abandoned, even so the church is still a holy place, but this is my territory. Not to mention, these rogues are essentially traitors. Plus, there wouldn't be any reason for the heavens to concern themselves with such a place any longer. She nodded her head. It appears she came to a conclusion. Okay, Ice. Do you know if he is still there? Probably. His aura is still in the same place. You can feel his aura from this far. I can feel everybody's aura. Well, thank you, Ice. That's all I need from you. So that's all you wanted to ask me? Yes. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go then. No. As Issei was about to stand to leave, Riaz interrupted him. Stay, Ice. There is still more I want to talk about. What's that? Anything? What do you mean? Like how was your day? Riaz asked Issei a casual question, but truthfully she felt a bit embarrassed that she was even trying. It's just that her pride was damaged the day before when Issei flat out rejected her proposal to spend time with her in the clubroom. It was alright. Nothing different. I see. Did you enjoy the tea? No. I hate tea. Riaz was taken aback by Issei's harsh response with almost no hesitation. She could imagine her best friend taking offense to that despite her signature smile being on her face. Well, everyone has their own tastes. Most of us in the club believe that Akeno's tea is delicious. Yeah, it's good tea. Oh, I see. So then it's just not to your tastes. That's understandable. Yeah, it sucks. Oh. I'm gonna go now. Yes, we will see you tomorrow. Okay. Issei grabbed his materials, placed them in his bag, and left the clubroom. Hi to household. I'm home. Issei casually announced his return to his home. Welcome BACK. Welcome back. Welcome back, Ryu-sama. The ones who greeted him were the three women, Rainer, Kalwerner, and his now enthusiastic mother. You are in a good mood, mama. UFU, of course I am. I finally was able to buy some new kitchen appliances. Have you seen this pan? Everything just slides right off. Would you like an omelette honey? I thought you said omelets were only for the morning. Oh, forget about that honey, you can have whatever you want. Dinner is almost ready, but if you want something else you can go ahead and ask me. Thanks to this new model refrigerator I can store so much more produce in the HOUSE. Would you like something cold? It even creates 3 different types of IC. His mother spoke gleefully while her face had sparkles and bubbles all around it. So much light was shining off of her that Rainer had a hard time cooking as she stood next to her. Meanwhile, Kalwerner was averting her gaze so as to not go blind. SSS. Issei was always told not to stare up at the sun. His mother is not the sun, and for that reason he is still staring directly into the bright light with his eyes sizzling. So you bought stuff with what Kala got for work? Why yes, I went shopping with Rainer-chan earlier and we were able to get so many new things. And we still have a lot left. Issei noticed that Kalwerner was casually sitting at the dining table while his mother rubbed against the new sleek silver model fridge and Rainer cooked. Did you already finish work, Kala? Yes, Ryu-sama. Accordingly, not every day is a very long day in terms of workload. Or perhaps that is because I handled his schedule and associate so easily. Nevertheless, it seems that I should be able to return from work at a similar time to your return from school, which is the optimum solution. Oh okay. Cool. Issei noticed a serious lack of blonde in his house. Where's Mito? Mitlet? She seems to have gone on a hunt. Hunt? I like hunting. Alwerner raised a brow at Issei's statement. Ryu-sama and his father enjoy hunting. I don't know about Pops. I've never gone hunting with him. What is it that you hunt, Ryu-sama? Monsters mostly. But a lot of them aren't here, so there's a lot of places I have to go to find them. I hunt other things too, but those are really annoying to hunt, so I kinda stopped doing it after I turned 12. What other things? Issei pointed towards himself and Kalwerner. Things like us. Things like us? Yeah. Like you, me, Rainer and the devils. You mean people? No. Humans are people. Alwerner couldn't help but shiver a bit. She averted her gaze from Issei's blank expression. What's wrong, Kala? And no. Nothing, Ryu-sama. I am alright, only thinking. You're a weird girl, Kala. Why yes. Alwerner had to remind herself that Issei was still the Sekiryuite. There was no doubt that he had to encounter countless beings nearer over his strength in order to become so strong. Not that she even knew of his true strength anyway. Issei sat in the seat next to Kalwerner. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. They were all evil, so it wasn't really like hunting monsters. I feel bad for the monsters sometimes. Most of them aren't scary. Alwerner decided not to respond. The sound of the front door opening loudly ran through the house. Back I'm Home. The one who entered the room from the hall was Mitlet. She was dressed in a black French-maid outfit. She marched proudly ahead of Issei and the others with her head up high and a smug smile on her face. She halted before them with her puffed up with pride. Oh hey Mito. Hello Ryujin. Who's that? Aren't you going to ask about my uniform? Your cosplay? Wah, this isn't cosplay, you idiot. It's my uniform. Oh. Issei looked as if he finally realized something. So which show is it from? RRGH. I just said. You got a job. Rainer cut them off with a shout. Mitlet returned to her previous smug attitude. Yep. That's right. I am now a professional just like Kala-chan. No way. Oh. Yeah. Mitlet proudly announced her employment. Rainer was shocked, Kalwerner was surprised more by her clothing, and Issei was just Issei acting surprised even though he looked like he didn't understand. My little girls. Issei's mother immediately ran to Mitlet and brought her into an embrace. What a good girl, truly our idiot son and family are not worthy of these angels. Issei's mother tightly held onto Mitlet's small body and caressed her head while she squirmed uncomfortably. Meanwhile Rainer could not help but find some serious irony in her words. They aren't angels anymore, mama. Waher I. Oh hush eyes. These girls are my little angels. If only my son was similar, then maybe I would be a happier mama. I can't be like them. I'm a dragon. Yes, because you're all strength and no brains. And you always bring home new women. Yeah. The two Haidu continued their banter. The irony was not lost on the girls. Rainer didn't even understand why she was worried. Speaking of which, Mito-chan, what sort of job did you get? Issei's mother asked Mitlet curiously after just releasing her from her grip. She once again gained a smirk. Suddenly, she spun around and made a cutesy pose with a peace sign. Welcome BACK master. Maid cafe. Alwerner muttered under her breath. Your housekeeping. Of course Issei was still lost despite hearing Kalwerner's statement. No, Ryu-sama. She works at a maid cafe. Oh. But she's still a maid. No, Ryu-sama. She is a server. But people aren't servers, you play on servers. Unless you want to count peer-to-peer networks, which isn't technically. Ahem. Mitlet cleared her throat to catch their attention. For some reason she had to interrupt Issei explaining something odd that he inexplicably understood. Well, more importantly, what do you think? Surprised. She asked proudly, expecting probably some shocked responses or the like. Not really. I never doubted that Mito would. I believed in you. Issei said it very plainly. Mito originally had a smug smile when asking, but as the seconds rolled by her demeanor progressively became more reserved and slouched while her face got red. Is that so? Yeah. Well good then. I didn't get to tell you guys yesterday, but that friend of yours Donya something is at the church. They were shocked by Issei's random declaration. Rainer questioned him immediately. What? Donashik is at the church. Yeah, he's there with a blonde white mage and a crazy looking guy with a blue light sword. It doesn't have any batteries though. Creed. No, his name is Creed. And a blonde white mage. That must be the gear user that we were supposed to have transported in. Yeah, her name was Europe. Asia. No, she was from Asia. Regardless, does that mean you met them, Ryu? Yeah, I did yesterday. I told the devils about them today. What? All of the fallen angel girls exclaimed loudly while Issei covered his ears and his mother was completely confused. What's wrong, girls? Is something the matter? And no, Kasan. It's alright. We're just talking about family. Yes. My uncle. He is in town and we need to go meet him. Asp. Rainer-chan's important family member. Something like this, we need to prepare something to greet him. Oh, I have to call your father. He'll need to take a sick day. When are you bringing him? Issei's mother suddenly became serious and started thinking about various things like she was in a rush. Rainer was taken aback by her reaction and didn't know how to respond. Tomorrow. He'll be visiting tomorrow. That's why we have to go and get him today. Right, Ryu. Why wouldn't your uncle want to go to your parents' house instead? For some reason Issei was not in on the lie. Oh, don't be ridiculous, Ice. We are her parents. All of these girls are mine. Don't be so stupid. Rainer couldn't help but smile at her mother's declaration. Meanwhile, Kalwerner blushed lightly and Midlet gave a shy HMPH. Well, anyway. It's already late, so we have to make sure he arrives at his hotel as quickly as we can before nightfall. So if you don't mind, Kasan, we're gonna go pick him up from his stop. Together. All three of us. Issei's mother looked worried about the girl's safety, considering it was well past sunset and was just on the verge of becoming dark. Are you sure? Your father and I can go check after he comes home ourselves. Why, yes. After all, wouldn't you rather meet him when you've got everything prepared instead? Well, you're right, but I suppose it should be fine as long as Kala-chan is with you. Yeah, and I'm going with him, so it should be okay, right, Mama? No. Let's go there. Rainer removed her apron and made a head start for the hall. Sorry, Kasan. You'll have to finish dinner without me. We'll be back soon. Be safe out there. She waved them off as they ran out of the house. When they stepped outside the door, they stopped. Ryu, do you know where they are right now? Yeah. 2 of them are at a house not far from here. Okay. We'll go there first. Boom. The girls released their wings. They're still light out. You sure you wanna fly? We have no choice. The devils are no doubt making their move. We'll stick to the shadows and trees or whatever else we can use. Either way, it'll be dark out in less than a half hour at most. Okay. Boom. Issei released his large wings. His wingspan was probably near 3 meters. At least a full meter longer than the girls and taller than their thin feathery ones and larger than their bodies in general. Actually, I think you should run instead. Okay. He retracted his wings and they quickly set off. It didn't take them long to reach the house they needed to. The entire way there they were simply following Issei's aura from the air despite the fact that they couldn't see him. All they knew was that he was moving at an incredible speed. Soon enough they saw Issei standing outside of a random house and became confused as to why. Would you stop? They're here. What? How? I don't sense them. Probably cause they're inside the barrier. Barrier? I don't sense a barrier. Issei tilted his head at Renaud's remark. If it exists then you can sense it. So how do you not know it's there? The fact that Issei could think so straightforwardly about something that was considered a complicated subject was a testament to his strength. Okay. I'm gonna go check inside. You guys can wait outside if you want in case Danafriak shows up or something. Alright. If anything happens, call us. Issei walked to the house. The door was already slightly open. He walked inside casually. The moment he stepped in, a pungent smell attacked his nostrils. It smelled terrible. A familiar smell. He made his way down the dark hallway towards a room that was dimly lit with yellow light. He stepped into the room. A living room. It was dark and lit by a few candles. He looked to his left. The direction the smell was coming from. The putrid smell that he hated. The moment he turned towards the smell. The body hanging upside down as if crucified. Oh. This smell isn't the smell of a SHT devil, is it? Those who associate with devils must be punished. RIIIIGHT. The one who turned his head from the couch with a twisted smile was Fried Selzen. His eyes met Issei's and. Ah, it's you. Hey Creed. You're not who I was expecting. Can I see your sword now? Fried suddenly stood from the couch. Well, no matter. If you're associated with those SHT devils then you deserve judgment. HAHAHAHA. Stop cursing. This isn't your house. Looks like I'm gonna have to set you up just like our friend over there. NYAHAHAHAHA. Fried ignored Issei's comments and pointed towards the hanging man on the wall. His body was covered in red liquid which ran down to the floor. There was something holding him up against the wall and a large red cross painted on the wall behind him. His insides were hanging out. Can you let me down now? I'm starting to get dizzy. Never mind. Ah. Right, my bad. It's already been like 2 minutes huh? Fried said that nonchalantly as he cut the tape holding the man up and helped him down. Whoa. My head felt really heavy there. Gotta sit down for a second. Oh here let me get those fake guts off your jacket. Does that blood paint wash off? Yeah it's pretty easy to get off. Just gotta make sure you use more than water. Issei waited patiently while Fried removed the props off of the man's clothes and he sat down on the couch. That terrible smell that forced Issei to cover his nose with his shirt, the damn tea on the table in front of the couch the man sat on. Sorry about that. That was kinda meant for the shy. It was meant for the devils that came to check, but then you showed up. Looks like I'm gonna have to come up with a new one for when they show up. Fried said that casually as he put his props into a large bag. Soon enough some footsteps came from down the hall and into the room. Mr. Fried, I'm done setting up the barrier, but I didn't know how to make it look like a futuristic bubble shield. Or whatever it was that you asked me. I'm sorry. She stopped when she caught sight of Issei. Mr. Issei. What are you doing here? Hey Asia. Asia looked horrified at Issei's appearance. The tension skyrocketed. No, it can't be. Don't tell me Mr. Issei could it be. If you're not here with those damn devils then why the hell are you here, Dumbus? Issei. I don't care. Ray and her friends want to talk to Donna Freak. Donna Chic. I thought you didn't care. Are you being smart with me? Ray says that I'm strong but not smart. Never mind. Wait, who the hell is Ray? Rainer. Rainer. The main hot fallen lady who was supposed to be our leader. That's right. Donna Chic did tell me that she was alive and she had betrayed us. So the others have betrayed us too huh? Well that's no biggie. Our plan is already underway. In fact. Fried ran up to Asia and threw her over his shoulder. Mr. Fried what's going on? Sorry Asia-chan, but looks like we'll have to accelerate our plan. It's time for the ritual to take place. So with this I'll have to bid you farewell Joppa idiot. Sayonara. Fried took out a small ball-shaped instrument with a button on it. He tossed it to the ground and a bright light flashed through the house. As the light finally died down, the priest and his hostage were no longer there. Oh no so what's the name of the show you guys are filming again? Packin'. Wah hello. Issei had already walked out. Packin'. When Issei exited the house the girls were floating in the air facing some trees next to the house. Fried. SHT. I didn't think you would be out here all together. Looks like I'm gonna need some help after all. Oi. Donash T. Get me out of here quick. Shin. Suddenly, after Fried took out a communication device, from thin air, a magic circle appeared and slowly created a form of light in the shape of a person. What? What do you want? Have you already made contact with the devils? Oh, it's Danafriak. After a few seconds of silence the atmosphere seemed to have taken a serious turn. Rainer and the other two tried to reason with their former ally. Anashik. What? Rainer all of you what are you doing here? Anashik we need to talk. You need to stop all of this. The devils are already making their move. They won't show any mercy if you continue. HMPH. I don't need a traitor like you worrying for me. If anything I could assume the same about you. How do I know you simply haven't become the whore to the lapdog Securite? Listen to us Donashik. At the very least understand that this operation of ours is already a failure. There is no longer any point in continuing it. Yeah, Donnie. Just give it up. This whole plan was stupid anyway. There's no way we would have survived against the devils when they found out. At least now we have a choice. HMPH. Just as I thought. You're all as worthless as you've shamed others for being. How pathetic. Fear of death is all that encompasses your existence. What exactly were you expecting to accomplish with such weak wills? Heh. To believe I had called you allies. What a disgrace. Please. I've had enough of this. Fried. We're leaving. The ritual will be conducted shortly. If you truly wish to stop me then come. This time I will be ready to face off the Securite. Farewell fools. How's it farewell if we're about to see each off? Shin. Right before Issei's stupid question could ruin the atmosphere Donashik teleported away with Fried and Asia. Damn. We have to stop him before the devils reach him. If they witness him conducting the ritual before we get there they'll have full authority to deal with him as they please. Rainer yelled out towards the others. They nodded seriously. Issei was still not very affected. Hala-chan. You can use magic circles pretty well right, try taking us to the church. It will be difficult to take the four of us, but I can certainly try. No, that's okay. I'll just run there. There's no time Ryu. It's better to just take the circle. Yeah but that'll be troublesome for Kala. It's better if I go on foot. I can get there real quick so it's no big deal. Rainer looked conflicted, but at the very least, if the devils were there they could stall for the couple minutes needed. Okay Ice. Don't take long. Yeah. Let's go, you two. The girls nodded and grouped together. Issei got into a squatting position. In only a few seconds Kalwerner activated a magic circle that began to transport them. Shin. On. Right before the light blinded their eyes, the girls heard a loud crashing sound. After a second or two, they felt they had arrived and opened their eyes. They were standing in the yard in front of the church. SSS. Issei was also standing in front of them. Why, how did? Issei tilted his head. He was standing in a large crater with smoke coming out from the bottom of his shoes. Shin. Right behind them another red magic circle presented itself. Ara, if it isn't our new fallen friendlies. What brings you here? The ones who appeared were Ria's Gremory and her peerage. Oh hey Ria-senpai. We're here to talk to Donyafreak. Are they? Wasn't his name Donashik? No. I can never tell if you're intentionally teasing us or not Ice. Mama said that boys don't tease girls, girls tease boys. Well we certainly are better at it so I suppose your mama is right. Mama is always right. I mean no that's not important. More importantly, what do you mean you're here to talk with Donashik? We just need to speak with him. We only need a few minutes so please give us some time. Rainer? I'm not sure I can do that. I'm not as willing to waste time as Ice is. Please Ria's Gremory. We're sure we can talk some sense into him. And if we can't we'll beat it into him. Ria's took a second to think about it. Until she noticed that for some reason Issei was nowhere to be seen. Wow where's Ice? Rainer painfully facepalmed. Oh Ice my stupid little idiot. Inside the church. The moment Issei had entered he was confronted by the same old prankster from before. Yo, sh tai Sekiryu whatever. Looks like you're in my house NOW. Fried was smiling maniacally while holding on to something like a hilt and a gun. Issei's expression became serious. Guns are dangerous and illegal. Oh this? Nyaha. Don't worry about it. It's just a laser gun. Oh okay. He easily believed it. Heh. Who cares about that? More importantly. Didn't you keep saying you wanted to see my blue sword? Yeah. Did you finally get some batteries? Oh yeah I got some batteries for YA. Back in. The doors flew open. Ice. Stop running off on your own without us. Why the devils? Just like I thought. So you were associated with the SHT devils. They're my friends, not my associates. That's the same SHT. No, associates are for business-like stuff. This is business. But I didn't apply for a job. Arg. You really pissed me off. Then just go to the restroom. RRRRRRRGGGGHHHH. Fried clawed and scratched at his head violently in anger. Whatever. Just go downstairs and fight Donash or whatever. You were the one he was supposed to fight anyway. Damn it. Fried said that as he pointed towards the giant cross statue in the church. Soon enough, it began to move and reveal a secret passage leading down under. Issei passed him without consequence. Fried turned back to the large group. Alrighty then. Which one of ya is gonna be my playmate Packin'. Every single one of them casually walked by Fried and began to make their way down the stairs. Halfway down the steps Kiba came to a stop. Sigh. He slowly walked back up. The XD. The orc accompanied by the three stooges, nicknamed courtesy of Fried Selzen, entered a large room filled with exorcists, an altar, and a large cross-like device atop of it. Ahahahahaha. You're too late Sekiryu. The ritual is already well underway. Within only a few minutes this girl will be no more. Rainer stepped forward and pleaded with Donashik. Donashik. Stop this at once. There's no meaning in continuing this operation further. She's right, Donashik. To go any further would be foolish. You are completely outnumbered and outclassed. Just give it up and my judgment shall be lenient. Ria's Gremory HMPH. As if I'd listen to the words of some foul devil such as you. You are not the one who I am to fight. My opponent is none other than Sekiryu. You will simply have to step aside while we face off in glorious battle. And why would I do that? Because if you interfere then this girl shall have it. With the snap of his fingers one of the exorcists kneeling in front of the cross drew a sword of light and placed it near Asia's throat. That's odd. Rainer noticed that there were priests kneeled before the cross, chanting and praying. Why? That's not necessary for the ritual. He just needs to turn the damn thing on. So then why? And why exactly would such a threat faze me, do you think, foolish fallen? Ria's Gremory. You are not the one in control of the situation. Something like this we shall leave to Ryu-sama. Halwerner glared sternly at Ria's while she raised a brow in annoyance. It's okay, Ria's senpai. I can handle this. Wah, but. She stared at Issei's blank face. Sigh. She slumped her shoulders down. I never get to do anything. She whispered defeatedly with a cloud of depression over her head. Issei turned to look up at Danashik. Perfect. Well then, kill them, you lot. Danashik instructed his exorcists, who immediately drew their weapons. Wah. HMPH. I said you weren't allowed to interfere in my battle with the Securitate. I didn't say I couldn't attack you. He replied smugly to the group's shock as they also took battle positions. Issei just stared blankly up at Danashik. Now Securitate. Come. Let us engage in glorious combat. We shall shake the very bounds of the earth with our catastrophe. Destruction shall be instilled within the very core of every spectator. There will not exist a single being that does not know of the battle between Danashik and the world's strongest Securitate. Zip. Ah. Everyone froze. Issei was standing right in front of Danashik. Hold on, timeout. On. Uam. He was immediately backhanded to the left side of the room, landing in the wall. The room was silent aside from some quiet interactions seemingly made by the various exorcists. Cough, cough. Ah. PSST, did you watch last night's episode O? Danashik rose from the rubble and made a strong battle cry. With two spears in his hands he roared and charged Issei with on. Oh. And was subsequently kicked back into the wall. Boom. Issei turned to the priests praying in front of the cross device. Why are you sitting there? You're not even doing anything. Back. This power. This must be the power of the Securitate. What a powerful aura. I can't withstand it. Ugh. Thud. The priest closest to Issei fell to the floor in front of the cross. Tug. He tugged at the robes of the priest next to him lightly. Oh. Ah. This power. Truly a devastating aura. I am no match. Ugh. Thud. But I'm not releasing any aura. Oh no. Even the very presence of this monster is too much to handle. So this is the power of the man who can face Danashik-sama. It is no wonder we are mere humans and no match. It's too much. Ugh. Thud. All four of the priests were now on the floor. Hey Asia, you're awake, right? Were you pretending to be asleep? The body of the girl on the cross lightly flinched. No, it was my instruction to remain unconscious until the battle was over, so I am not awake. Issei turned around and looked straight down at the floor. I'm confused. Danashik quickly rose out of the rubble once more with a completely different attitude. He roared louder into the sky. But you look like a pedo. Thud. Danashik landed face first into the ground. Hey oh. A little stream of white smoke resembling Danashik's soul slowly floated out of his mouth. Issei watched it as it slowly rose to the ceiling. Well, that settles that. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe and comment down below and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the NOSFERATU 869 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.